Diamondbacks lose to the Padres 3-0 on the second game of the season. The team's record now evens up at 1-1. Hello there, I am Michael McDermott from AZ Snake Pit, and we're bringing in the recap for the Diamondbacks' second game of the season. 3-0 loss to San Diego. The Padres, obviously, they got their first win of the year. Bob Melvin's first win as the Padres manager. So this game started off the same as yesterday. Neither team getting much off the opposing starting pitcher. Merrill Kelly, 4 innings pitched. I thought he looked good at times. I got some pretty big strikeouts. Second, third inning, he was pretty efficient, but the 2 big innings, 28 pitch first and a 25 pitch second, ended up knocking him out at 75 pitches through 4 innings. So that meant the bullpen would have to get 15 outs in this game, and this time the bullpen, although not terrible collectively, 3 runs in 5 innings, although I would consider it to be a complete reversal of what their performance was in game 1. So after Merrill Kelly came out, 0-0 game, D-backs still without a hit against the starting pitcher situation again. But 5th inning, they went to JB Wendelken. Wendelken pitched around some trouble. Ended up posting a 0 despite giving up a base hit. 6th inning, Oliver Perez came in, got the first man. Then they left the slider up to Hosmer, who ended up banging it for a single. And then unfortunately threw a fastball down the middle right to Jurickson Profar, who did not miss that fastball and hit a absolute missile in the left center field stands, and that put the Padres up 2-0. Although obviously going through the game 1 experience, 2-0 wasn't necessarily insurmountable. Then after Perez got out of the inning, they went to Sean Poppin. For the 7th, Poppin ended up giving up a leadoff double to Alfaro on a slider that, while it was down, it caught a little bit too much of the plate. Alfaro was able to go down and get it, hit in the left field corner for a double. But then after a sacrifice bunt, which I considered a bad play at the time because it was giving away out for 90 feet, and I thought they were going to walk Machado. They pitched to him. Poppin does a good job. He gets Machado out on 3 pitches. Got a little bit of help on that first pitch from Dan Bellino for a strike. Second pitch, Machado got a sinker right over the plate down, ended up hitting it, fouling it straight back. And the third pitch let him out of the strike zone with a slider. And the slider, and Machado just took a feeble swing at it. And then after Machado struck out, intentionally walked Cronenworth. Good idea because Cronenworth has a 952 OPS against the D-backs. Although I thought he had a much higher batting average than 276, but anyway. You have a left-handed hitter up against a right-handed pitcher. On-deck hitter's right-handed. They ended up putting Cronenworth on base, which I thought was a good move. And then Poppin ended up making that move work out as he got the next batter out. So then 7th inning, after the 7th inning, D-backs still not a hit against Manaea. They had 1 base runner, a Dalton Varsho walk in the 3rd inning, which was a 4-pitch walk. That was the only time Manaea looked like he was missing at any point in the game. He was completely dialed in. One of those games where you have a pitcher who's dealing against a lineup that is tailor-made for him to basically run through it. D-backs obviously have, I think they have 1 good right-handed bat on their roster, and then Cooper Hummel, switch hitter, that's if you count Christian Walker, 1 usable right-handed bat on their roster, a couple switch hitters. Marte obviously leans better against left-handed pitching. Carson Kelly, I said 1 good right-hand bat, I meant Carson Kelly. Christian Walker on certain days, I think it can be pretty good as well, but I digress. It was a left-handed heavy lineup. They were stacked down at the bottom. Peralta, Smith, Varsho were kind of at the bottom of the lineup, so it was kind of tailor-made. It was one of those days where the top of the lineup was going to have to carry the offense, and they ultimately didn't. In fact, 1 through 5 went hitless in the game. So then the 8th inning, Castellanos left the breaking ball up to Hosmer. Hosmer's very good at hitting that slow breaking ball the other way down the third base line for a double, because even though Hosmer hits a lot of ground balls, obviously it's much easier to guide a slower pitch that's up, kind of hit it away from the shift. And Hosmer's done that a lot against the Diamondbacks in their most recent meetings. So that kind of was a gut wrenching punch. And then better behind him, Profar decided to bunt, which of course in the bottom of the order is a little bit better play as opposed to trying to bunt with the top of your order. As I mentioned, the 7th inning, bunts it. Ellis kind of hesitated on the ball. That's a situation where you aggressively fielded it or you just let it go. He did neither, ended up rushing a throw to first base. And that missed Marte trying to cover the bag, and it's a moving target trying to hit a moving target, rushing the throw, and it ended up being about 10 feet wide of the base for an error, and then that allowed Hosmer to score, and then Profar ended up trying to advance it to 3 bases, but then Pavin Smith actually got to the ball in pretty good shape. I thought it was a good play by him, and then he made a nice throw. Was a little bit short of the bag, but it ended up leading Ellis right into the runner, applied the tag, and then Profar's trying to do his Alex Rodriguez impression, wipes the glove and completely whiffs. And that was pretty much it for the scoring. So after the top of the 8th inning, went to the bottom of the 8th inning. Obviously, Tim Hill comes in after a hitless start by the D-backs pitcher. First batter, ringing single to center field. Just to the left of straightaway center field. He had to have been experiencing deja vu there. And this time it was Peralta. And then when you see Peralta hitting balls like that to left center field, you know his swing's in pretty good shape. Like I said, spring training, I thought he also had good bats opening night. So Peralta's off to a pretty good start in my opinion. So then after an out, Perdomo came up, hit a hard, smashed a ground ball up the middle. It was too hot for Cronenworth to handle. I don't blame him. Not many second basemen can make that play. It was hit crisply. So that ended up putting runners at the corners with 1 out. And you had Pavin Smith at the plate. And then Smith, who actually had a hit against Hill last night, ended up taking a couple ugly swings against Hill. I guess day-to-day success can be very fleeting. And then a 2-2 pitch got elevated fastball. Ended up popping it straight up behind the plate for a second out. And then obviously some managerial games. Bob Melvin went to Dinelson Lamet to try and face Drew Ellis. Obviously, that's not a matchup that Torey Lovell is going to want. Torey Lovell counters with Seth Beer. And then, of course, just like last night, the fans see Seth Beer at the plate, and they're going crazy. Got to hear the beer chants one more time on TV. And it was like the building was going to go, the top was going to come off the building if Seth Beer did it again. Unfortunately, he didn't. He just missed a fastball down Broadway. Met through a 96-mile-an-hour heater. That Beer timed up pretty well, but it got under it a little bit, so he ended up hitting a routine fly out to center field, and it felt like the game just ended right there. And of course, 9th inning, Castellanos pitched out some trouble, and then the bottom half of the inning, it was a 1-2-3 inning, and you can see kind of why the Padres went out and got Taylor Rogers. Like I said in the opening day recap, a very underrated reliever. They probably wish they had him for game 1, but they had him for game 2, and the D-backs had 2 groundouts, and Carson Kelly struck out on a back foot slider to close it out, kind of thing. Hoping that the struggle against Manaea is just Manaea having an outright good game, perfect storm of a good game versus a lineup that's a little bit vulnerable against left-hand pitching. You're hoping that not every lefty they face pitches like Randy Johnson. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about a new manager next year, most likely, if that comes up. Well, hopefully the team bounces back tomorrow. 5-10 start. Zach Davies. Getting ahead of myself. Zach Gallen starting Tuesday. So Zach Gallen will be starting Tuesday. Zach Davies starting tomorrow. Davies will be going up against Joe Musgrove. Musgrove was arguably the most consistent pitcher on the Padres rotation last year. He's been a guy that's been a lot of talent. Hasn't quite put it together until last year with the Padres. The guy, when he's on, he can be very nasty. And then back counting Davies. Davies is a nibbler, throw the ball around the edge of the strike zone, pitch to contact type pitcher. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully the team has a little bit less turbulent ride against Musgrove as they've had against both Darvish and Manaea. Hopefully they get a hit off a starting pitcher before the series is over. So if you enjoyed that video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the AZ Snake Pit here on YouTube. Check out Snake Pit website where myself and other D-backs fans blog about the team at azsnakepit.com.